Guys, I am so heated right now. You do not understand how effing heated I am right now. Trump has been banned from Twitter, right? And one of the most predictable moves that anybody with two brain cells could have predicted. That Trump and Facebook and all these social media companies are basically trying to ban the president from the internet. Right? Not only did they do that, after they banned him, President Trump tried to tweet from the POTUS account. And then they deleted that tweet in literally 3 minutes. So they're trying to ban President Trump from the internet. Not only that, conservatives are losing followers on a ton of platforms, right? And on top of that, the icing on the cake is that they are also trying to erase Parlor from the internet. Apple has taken Parlor out of their store. I think Google Play might have taken Parlor out of the store as well too. So you can't even download the app. You have to go straight to the website to get the app. I mean, they're just straight up coming after conservative speech, and particularly speech that they call extreme conservative speech. And guys, you know me. I am a free speech absolutist. Almost, right? Except direct threats of violence. I've said this 1,000 times. Okay? But what really, really, really pisses me off about this is the fact that if you're going to ban somebody like President Trump, you also have to ban the AOCs of social media. AOC has to be banned if you're going to ban the president. Now, I'm consistent. I don't think any of them should be banned. Because I think when you start banning people unjustly based off their political beliefs, and you're not doing it on an equal basis on both sides, I think that's what creates more extremists. That's what creates more conspiracy theories. That's what makes people think that the world is after them. And that's what Facebook and Twitter and all these other social media companies are doing. If you're going to ban Trump, you got to ban AOC. Because if Trump is inciting violence and he's being dangerous, which is why Twitter said they banned the president, AOC does the exact same thing. It's the exact same shit. The only difference is the shit smells different. And Twitter likes the smell of the progressive shit. That's the only difference. Guys, listen to this. Listen to this. AOC tweeted December 2nd. December 2nd, she tweeted this. The thing that critics of activists don't get is that they tried to play the polite language policy game. And all of it was to make them easier to ignore. What does that sound like? Who does that sound like? Is that not what conservatives have been saying? When people that come on my page and have commented on my video where I criticized and condemned the Capitol, the main thing they said was, well, we tried playing the talking game. We tried being polite, but we had to make our voices heard using other methods. Is AOC not saying the exact same thing? Is this not the exact same thing? It wasn't until they made folks uncomfortable. That's what the rallies are, right? That there was traction to do anything, even if it wasn't their full demands. So if you got a ton of people who believe that votes don't count, right? And they've been talking about it. They've been asking, hey, can you look at it? Can we get a court case? Can we have some transparency here? And you told them time and time again, no, you're stupid. No, you're dumb. No, none of it's real. It's all fake. And then you don't even talk about it. You don't even prove to them why it's fake. CNN doesn't even cover it. If you think it's fake, cover it and tell them why it's fake. Sidney Powell is getting sued by Dominion right now for $1.2 billion. Is the media going to cover it? Because this would be a great opportunity to prove that her allegations are fake. You might want to start covering that. If you want to calm down some of these Trump supporters, if you want to calm down the people, you might want to start covering it. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, cover the Dominion lawsuit against Sidney Powell. When discovery happens and when they go to trial, cover it. So then you can say, see, look at what Dominion said. Look at what Sidney Powell presented in court. You can see it. This is the transparency here. Because the only thing people were asking for was more transparency. That's what a lot of people wanted, but they wasn't getting it. AOC is saying the exact same thing. Look at this tweet. The whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. Activists take that discomfort with the status quo and advocate for concrete policy changes. Popular support often starts small and grows. To folks who complain, protest demands make others uncomfortable. That's the point. How is that any different than going to a rally where you're trying to show support for reforming the elections? How is that any different from any politician saying, hey, we need to maybe look into some different policy changes for the elections? It's the same exact thing. It's just whatever you prefer. And that's what makes me mad, because I feel like I'm the only one that's like, no, let's be consistent about this. If you're going to ban Trump, okay, fine. But you got to ban AOC. She's just as dangerous. She's a part of a group of people that have incited violence and protests across cities in the country, having black people burned out in their own neighborhoods because of the idea that white men and cops are killing black people in the streets. LeBron James has went on Twitter and said, we are being killed in the streets by white men. LeBron James. This type of rhetoric is what led people to go out in the streets and to burn down their own neighborhoods. It's the exact same thing. But those people aren't classified as extremists. Those people are heroes. Those people are social justice activists. They can get away with it because you agree with that speech, not because of the end result. The end result is the same. Trump telling everybody that the election was stolen, that's the end result is the same. LeBron James telling black people that black people are being murdered in the street. Yes, the result is going to be the same. It's going to be violence. That's going to be the result of it. So if you're going to ban one, you got to ban the other one, because they're both the same. AOC is the Trump of the left. If you're going to classify Trump that way, I think all of it should be allowed. They should all be able to say what they want to say, as long as it's not a direct threat to violence. What we're talking about here between AOC, LeBron, Trump, what we're talking about here is indirect stroking of the flames. That's what you're talking about. Because none of it was direct. None of them directly called for violence. Nobody's directly called for violence. Of course, I'm not cool with that. But if it's something where if you want to have a certain type of rhetoric, I'm okay with that if you don't censor any of it. Because that way you allow competing ideas. People can compete with each other and talk to each other. But what happens is when you start to just ban a certain group of people based off political ideology and not the end result, not based on principle or consistency, what happens is that you further divide the country and you stroke the flames even more. You are contributing to the problem. Twitter, Facebook. What do you guys think that all these people who subscribe to these theories that you guys say are crazy, what do you think these people gonna think now? They thinking it's the end of the world. They're thinking that America is officially turned into China. That's what they're thinking right now. They'll be 100% just to think that way. 100% right to think that way. Why else would they not think that way? You've deplatformed them, but you haven't deplatformed the AOCs of the world. The people who believe that censorship is okay. That's what really bothers me about this whole situation, is that nobody is being consistent. If you're in the middle where you're like, no, you know what? Both sides are bad. Both sides are not accomplishing anything. The BLM protest didn't accomplish nothing for black people. And storming the Capitol didn't accomplish nothing for people that support Trump. That is nothing but the truth. But for whatever reason, nobody wants to go there. Everybody has to take their side and just tucker down in their side and think that whatever the other side say is inherently wrong and that they're right and that their shit don't stink, when both sides are the same thing. It's the same exact thing on both sides. You have two groups of people who are disenfranchised, who feel that life is not treating them fairly, who are struggling during a pandemic, who feel like they've been wronged by our government and our politicians. The details are different. The principles are the same. And when the emotions boil over, right? They go out and they protest and they get violent. So if you're going to ban one person for stroking those flames, You need to ban the other person for stroking the flames on the other side, because I can argue that the BLM protests have been way more destructive than what happened at the Capitol. The one thing the right had, which is why, again, I took pride. The right didn't go out in the streets and burn their own neighborhoods because of something they didn't like. You know, they can be like, well, you know, they might say we crazy, but at least we're not burning our own neighborhoods. At least we're not destroying our own cities, burning our own businesses. At least we being rational about it. At least we handling it like adults. But yet the only people they want to censor are the people on the right. Again, guys, I just got to make this clear. I don't think anybody should be banned. But if you're going to do it on both sides. Be consistent. If you're on the left and you say that the Trump riots are not okay, then you need to be condemning the Black Lives Matter protests. You need to say these are not okay. Because black men are not being unjustly gunned down in the street by white people and cops. That's a myth. That is fear-mongering. It's the exact same thing y'all accuse Fox News of doing. You're doing the exact same thing. You're stroking fear. Matter of fact, AOC tweeted, to my GOP colleagues, know that this president incited an insurrection against and excited his mob to find, harm, and possibly kill not just Democrats, but you too. He will allow opportunities of physical harm against you if you aren't sufficiently loyal to him. Remove him. AOC is telling people that Trump supporters are out to kill them. That's not an exaggeration. That's what she tweeted. Trump supporters are out to find, harm, and possibly kill not just Democrats, but Republicans. AOC said that. That tweet wasn't taken down. That tweet wasn't removed. How is that not stroking the flames? You're stroking the flames on the left for people to believe that anybody that supports President Trump or any Trump supporter is possibly looking to kill you. But see, these people can get away with it because you agree with their speech. To me, this is more direct fear-mongering than possibly anything I've seen from President Trump. I mean, she's telling people that the other side wants to kill you. I don't think I've ever heard Trump say that progressives want to kill Trump supporters. I don't think I've ever heard that from President Trump. I don't think I've ever heard that. But he got banned. AOC is still up. This is the type of shit that pisses me off. I feel like I'm the only person that's being consistent on this issue. Just like if you on the right, if you condemn the BLM protest, which 99.9% of people on the right did, oh, it's bad, you shouldn't be doing that. You're doing it based off a false principle. You're doing it based off something that's not true, off a myth. Then you should be condemning what happened at Capitol Hill. If you condemn the BLM protest, you should be condemning that too. Because we all agree at the time of the BLM protest that violence is not the answer. You got to handle this another way. That's what we all agreed on. And because we agreed on that, it's like I can't come out here and justify one without the other. I got to condemn both. That's what a principled person does. And we don't have enough principled people. It's time for us to start standing up for principles and not just playing for a team. There's too many team players out here and not enough people that are principled and taking a stance for certain values, regardless of whether or not it fits the political team that I want to be on. That's what we got to start doing. And there's not enough people doing that. Anyways, man, I just want to get that out, man. This is just beyond frustrating at this point. I don't know. I don't think that anything's going to happen to me on my channel because quite honestly, I don't say things that are super extreme in the first place for a reason. But who knows, man? We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.